Hi, I'm just going to give you some examples in my life where I believe God's hand has been on me. The stories are pretty crazy, right? Because I have a pretty crazy life. I'm not going to give the real names of people involved in it and anything like that, but I believe the hand of God was on me, but you can make your own mind up. 1995, I need to tell you the whole story. Basically, I had come back from my work and one of my friends and we were all drinking together and me and him started arguing about something totally stupid. I punched him and he punched me, broke my nose. Immediately hugged after it straight up the road, right? So I went up to my friend's house that was with me, I got changed up and we went up to the town centre where we stayed at the time. Obviously my nose was all over the place, but anyway, we met this person called P, who we used to hang about with, and he always thought he was a bit of a hard man and stuff like that, and his dad was an ex-policeman and all the rest of it. And we saw him fall into a bush. That's all we saw, this guy falling into a bush, right? He was the drunkest man in the town that night. He was like, fell into the bush. We helped him up and that was it. We went down to my friend's house now. Me and my friend used to go out. Used to go out and he'd roll a joint and we'd walking in at night at 1 o'clock in the morning, just walking about talking, that sort of thing. We rolled a joint and we were coming out the estate that we used to in. On the right side as we were coming out is there a street called Gardenside Street, and there was another street, but for some reason, and this is not how we acted or whatever, we turned round, I can still see it in my mind's eye, he looked at me, never said a word, I looked at him, we stopped, walked back up the few steps back up to his mum's house. Immediately the door went and it was our friend Jay, and he'd said that this guy had come from another part of the city, right, and he was a bit maybe simple, that's what they said, and he was with them and he'd left them, so Jay came to us, so we said, we'll walk you up to the road. This was about 12 o'clock at night, so we walked him up. That was fine. So the next morning we got up and we found out there had been a murder on Gardenside Street, right? See, the street that we just went up, and that P had actually basically kicked a guy to death, basically, and all the rest of it. I believe that God's hand for either myself, the person that came to the door, Jay, or my friend R. I believe God's hand was on one of us at that point because we would have walked up that Gardenside Street. That boy P had actually said that, see, the person that came to the door, Jay, he had been with them earlier, but not when he did that. Paul P's dad basically had burnt his clothes and all that, but he eventually got 12 years, and he's the guy he was with. But that was, I didn't even think about that for years. In 2005, right, I was going to Thailand with my friend R, and basically I had drink problems and stuff like that, and I had a black. The last thing I remember looking is out over the Himalayas with the sun coming up, but I was drinking vodka straight and I was like, oh. And I think I was just being loud or something like that, but they actually asked me to put my hands in tie-dyes, so I put them in, you know what I mean, I wasn't kicking off or anything like that, but I managed to get my hand out and stuff like that. By the time we got back to Thailand, I was kind of down to Dal Roar, and I was kind of coming off the plane, I was like, how you doing, guys? And they're kind of looking at me like, yeah, he's not a threat, and just let me go. We got to the hotel, and I was going up to my second floor balcony, whatever it is, floor, sorry. I saw a swimming pool, forgetting I can't actually swim. So then I went. I'm still pretty drunk, but not rip-roaring drunk. And then the next thing I remember, I'm sitting cross-legged with about 10 foot of water above me. And I knew I was going to die, basically, but I don't remember breathing. I was under there for maybe a couple of minutes, maybe about a minute and a half, but anyway, it was like something was around me. I had the most serene feeling, and then somebody, by the grace of God, there was breakfast bay windows in the floor below, and they could see me sitting in the pool, the wee guy fishing me out. So yeah, that to me was an odd occurrence, but I believe in the hand of God. 2006, I discovered a lump on my testicle about February, and I thought, oh no, my life's over. But my friend recently, another friend, had the same lump sort of thing. They said it was a cyst. The doctor told him it was a cyst. I went to the doctor said it's a cyst. So I walk out. That year I was having the time of my life. I was 29 going on 30, and I spent about £16,000 on mostly cocaine, but in designer clothes and just partying and stuff like that in the space of about 4 months that year. And then at the end of that year, it was still there. I don't know how long that lump had been in my body, because I didn't really check my testicles or anything like that, but so it was well over a year. and it never spread anywhere. By the grace of God, perhaps. In 2007, I was at a party. This was 3 months after I'd had my operation. I got my testicle removed actually because there was 2 centimetres of cancer on it, sorry. But 3 months after this, I went to a party with an old friend. Something happened and we ended up in the street about 1 o'clock in the morning. It's quite a bad area. The only thing I remember is getting it was a white flash basically, and I went down. I was down on my hands and knees. I don't really remember anything. They disintegrated a full bottle. I don't know if you can see the marks here. A full bottle of Buckfast that they drink in Scotland. Disintegrated, but see, at the moment I was down, I was told later on that the guy was about to stab me right in the chest, and a car just pulled up. And I'm oblivious to this. I kind of remember something happening, but I'm oblivious to this. The guy turns up, it's the CID, which is like the super cops in Scotland sort of thing. And obviously they ran away. They proceeded to take me to hospital, got me in the ambulance to take me to hospital. The guy had the same surname as me, which I thought was pretty cool. And they took me to get like criminal injuries and stuff like that, like beyond the Call of Duty and stuff like that. I believe that was a hand of God. I think it was 2011. I had been out drinking and coming back from my work, and it was about midnight, and I'd went a long way to go to where I stay in Glasgow. And apparently, I don't remember. I was thinking I was on E, actually, to be brutally honest. Apparently, there was a random attack murder in the street within minutes of me being round there because it was worked out. So make it out what you will. Also in 2011, I look at some of the videos. I was interested in ghosts and ghouls and all that sort of thing. There was a girl who I'd met on Bebo and like over a couple of years, and she had enough, and she says like, why don't you just come and see me and stay with me for like a week or whatever? And I was like, why not? It's in Denver. But she did ghost hunting, and she had friends that were like a paranormal group and stuff like that, and I'm very bravado, you know what I mean? I'm like kind of like I was a bit of a lad when I was younger. I'm not scared of a lot of things, right? I could handle myself to a point. We went to a vegan restaurant, and we were supposed to be going to an old psychiatric unit in the middle of a field somewhere in the Denver area, and I'm like that super keen. But just as it was getting dusk, and she said to me that the spirits, which I now know are demons, but I thought they were humans at that time, might connect to you at that very moment in time, like a bolt of lightning. And I mean a bolt of lightning through my body right to my feet. And I've never felt so much fear in my life over that. And I'm not really scared of things. It was like a supernatural bolt. I always thought it was my granny, right? And my granny had died a wee while about that time. But it has to be God. I was still shaking about 3 hours later. We had to go to she took me to a meeting where it was the Sea Shepherds, who culture people, marine people, and I had a couple of drinks to try to steady my nerves. It took me 3 or 4 hours to actually calm down, and I believe that was a bolt of God. Jesus is real. Jesus is coming. Repent. Ask God to reveal His Son, Jesus the Christ. Believe He is Lord and God and died and shed His own blood for our sins and is risen.